Oh yes, it'd be my pleasure. So this is our official part of the residence. This is the private area, but I can show you here. This is the living room, because it's the flu season. Hello, welcome to the embassy. Thank you for visiting us. Yeah, actually we're very lucky. Our Ministry of Culture makes these replicas, and they are exactly the same like the original pieces. This is the Horus, which is a very famous figure, and he was the guardian of the king, because this was the only visible bird in the sky in the old times. This is an obelisk. You will find the famous obelisk in Paris, the Sekhmet and King. These are all made in gold, the real ones. This is the cat, a sign of fertility and protection of the house. If you imagine, this has been done without any computer, without any specific calculation, with instruments that are modern. This is all handmade, and you can see the features of the face, the proportions. The body to the face are very accurate and very beautiful. There is beauty in the ancient Egyptian art, and this is where actually the art of the world we are living today started. So we are very lucky and proud to present this to the Korean public and visitors of the embassy. Well, these represent one of the finest works. All these figures represent, these are kings and queens, depictions of different areas in different temples in Egypt. Here you feel a bit of Egyptian culture in Korea. So it's just to kind of tease you to book your ticket and to go and see the real things in Egypt. No, they are all replicas. It is very expensive to move the real pieces, and there has to be insurance and security issues to move them out of Egypt. And of course, this is one also of my dreams, is to have some cooperation and collaboration with a Korean museum to bring some of the Egyptian real artifacts to be displayed here. You know, next year we are celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relations between Egypt and Korea. And I want to show you a special piece here that we maybe missed when we were entering. This is a present from the Multicultural Museum, and it was presented to us last year in our National Day, and it is written in Korean. We try and put things in this entrance that resembles the relationship between our two countries. Yes, it's my favorite one. I wear it especially today and on special occasions, and it's an Egyptian necktie. It has hieroglyphics on it. Unfortunately not, I still have to learn hieroglyphics. I did buy a book to start to learn hieroglyphics, yes. The first floor here is our consular and entrance section. The consular section here is on the right, where the people come for applying for visa or applying for any transaction. And then we have on the second floor is where the embassy and my colleague's office and my office. Yes, sure, please. You would like to use the staircase or you would like to use the elevator? We have some pictures here, and I'll show you also upstairs. We have a number of pictures that were drawn by Egyptian artists. I'll show you in the third floor. They are resembling the Egyptian culture. So this is the second floor. This is our embassy, where we have our Korean staff and Egyptian staff working together. This is our meeting room. We use it for Zoom meetings with Egyptian and Korean officials. And this is my personal assistant, my secretary, and this is the office for the ambassador. My room is like any other ambassador's room. It's just an office with a small saloon for guests when they come. I offer them some Egyptian coffee or tea. I like it to be a place for conversation, for exchange of suggestions, ideas, and so on. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's an ancient Egyptian map drawn by some German scholars who visited Egypt. It is one of my private collections because I like collecting ancient maps for Egypt. It is an authentic piece. No, I bought it from a specialized map shop. Compared to a lot of things, not so expensive, but I think around 250 sterling pounds. I bought it in the UK. Maybe by time, generation to generation, it will be more expensive. There were a lot of Europeans traveling to Egypt, and when they were traveling to Egypt, they were trying to document what they saw. It's very interesting how they documented that by hand. And over the time, these maps are becoming more and more interesting and valuable. It was during the Korea-Africa Summit, and we were invited as African ambassadors. And I was awarded, actually, and this was a big surprise to me, in 2022, Best Ambassador Award. I just arrived, and it was a very special award. This is the Ambassador of Kuwait, my brother, Ambassador Diab. Well, we call each other, this is something in the Arab culture. When somebody is a dear friend, he's almost like a brother. We have this saying that sometimes you have friends like brother, but not from the same mother. Cultural resemblance. We have cooperation with a number of Korean companies to build trains and metro cars in Egypt, the defense industry. So these were models that were given as a token of resemblance of the cooperation with Egypt. Yes, actually, I think this one is for the fast train, which we are still not cooperating with Korea with. We are cooperating with the metro, and maybe in the future we'll do that. Something to look at for the future. K2, this is also a future project that maybe we'll be cooperating in. There is also a Ramses one, which is being now restored by the Korean heritage. Yeah, we have cooperation in that. The Ramsesium, which is a very big temple, it is being under restoration by the Korean cultural heritage. Actually, there is a cooperation project for digitalization of a lot of the artifacts, especially with the Luxor Museum. So this is a very good project in combining history and modern technology, which Korea is very strong at. Still, we have so many artifacts that need to be documented. And for this documentation, definitely Korea has the technology and the know-how to document these artifacts. So we are doing this project together to have an interactive museum. At the same time, you are seeing the real piece, but you cannot touch it, you cannot look at it from the different angles. And this is where technology brings it to you in a 3D way, where you can play around with it and look at it from different angles. Why don't we have a seat and have a chat? Okay, thank you. Yes, actually, this building was built in the year 2000, so now it's almost 24 years. It was through a competition, many architects to present their vision and design for this building, and the Korean architect actually won this. It also resembles the Rosetta Stone, which is now currently in the British Museum. From outside, I think a similar stone as we used in ancient Egypt for building many of our temples and buildings. So it is a very Egyptian building in the heart of Seoul, and I'm very proud of it as an ambassador of Egypt. And I think me and my colleagues who all helped in the renovation project, we just finished renovation this building, and we are very proud to be part of the unique buildings in the Seoul metropolitan area. It's my first visit as an ambassador, and personally, I've never been to Korea before, but I've known Korea through a lot of Korean diplomats who were my colleagues in many different posts before. I came here in February 2022. To be honest, I thought it would not be that far. And when I was looking on the map and the flights, I was saying, I have to work very hard for direct flights because it's quite far, I was very happy. I was excited, especially reading about our bilateral relations and how much the Korean experience was important for Egypt. Also, my president, Al-Fattah al-Sisi, he visited here in 2016. So this showed how much the Egyptian government is interested, and personally the president of Egypt is interested in the Korean experience of developing and how it built itself after the war and through the 1970s, 80s and 90s and so on. So Korea is very close to us. Well, these days, Egypt is really witnessing a boom in the construction area. And you have here a number of construction companies worldwide known, especially in high-rise buildings. And we are building our new administrative capital. And we are very keen to collaborate with Korean companies in this field. Also, as you might know, we have a number of Korean companies. They already have their factories in Egypt. I would like to see these factories expand more because there is more demand for the products they are producing, especially household and white goods. So Egypt is really in demand for these products, and these products have really made a name and a very good reputation in the Egyptian market. So definitely Korea has a very big chance to expand its manufacturing, and this will also help localizing industry, as we have a lot of youth that we are looking to employ. For Korea, attractive because they are cheap, skilled labor, and we have this experience with the Samsung factory in Egypt, with LG factory in Egypt. So why don't we increase such number of factories? We also have Rotem, which is going to be locally manufacturing metro cars. This is a good example of sharing the technology that will eventually be good and benefiting Korea in the supply chain, re-exporting products from Egypt to other markets, because Egypt has a number of free trade agreements with the European Union as our biggest trade partner, with the African market and with the Arab market. Yes, definitely. Yeah, we have the Egyptian private sector now very interested to collaborate with different number of cities here in Korea. And we recently had an MOU between one of the biggest real estate developer group, TMG, and Anyang Smart City. We are really looking at developing our new administrative capital, and there will be phase 2 starting soon. So I invite Korean companies, especially in e-mobility, and also I'm very keen to see an electric vehicle from Korea have their market share and build a factory in Egypt. This is also another big project because there are a number of countries that are interested, still wondering why Korea is not approaching the Egyptian market more vigorously. It's a good opportunity, and we are ready to put our hands together to really build things for the future together. Actually, I suggest to the Korean companies to look at building charging stations, not only for the new administrative capital, but to other cities. We are building 14 other cities, so they can take other cities as pilot projects. I think this will bring in the technology that Korea wants to export to the world. And I think this is going to be very, very important for us to collaborate. We have some very good universities, and one of my big projects is to really establish cooperation with KAIST. We are hopefully going to find a way how to have KAIST presence in the new administration capital with NTA, with the National Training Academy in Egypt. These are all very ambitious projects. It takes a month and years to develop, to materialize, but definitely there is always a starting point. And I see from both sides, both our governments, both our private sectors, they are very keen to cooperate and collaborate. So these are things that, as a representative of the Egyptian government, I try to facilitate and develop. And really, in Egypt now, we are giving a lot more to the private sector to have a role in the building of the new Egypt and the infrastructure projects. As you know, here the president for a 5-year term. So being here in the inauguration, when I first arrived, it was in May 2022, when His Excellency the President started his term. So I feel that I was starting my post, the new president of Korea. So this was a very memorable and historic event to attend, and I was just attending the Army Day, the 76th, and I had the chance to shake hands with His Excellency the President. It was a very nice opportunity, and also visiting many cities in Korea to see the different parts of Korea. I visited Ulsan, the shipyard building, one of the biggest shipyards in Korea, to see how this industry is developing. And I look forward to be attending more of events that will be very memorable for me. I love cities by the seaside, So Busan was very appealing for me. Busan is a very good example for us to collaborate with Al Alamein city. New Al Alamein is a city that is on the Mediterranean coast, and New Al Alamein also has some very tall high-rise buildings. There is a resemblance between these two cities. So I do like Busan. It has a very nice vibes and very nice culture. Actually going to the market, to the traditional market here, I felt I was in Egypt but with the Korean flavor. Old ladies that are cooking in the market, that are selling items, they resemble very much an Egyptian market. From me coming from a country with an ancient civilization, I was saying, wow, that's quite similar to our markets. You know, you can see people really working hard. You know, they wake up very early to prepare their things, how they display their things, and so on. So it was interesting. It was not shocking, but it was, wow, this really exists in Korea, you know, because the perception was coming to Korea, everything would be nice shops, nice buildings. The traditional markets, yes, not as much, but when you are actually there and walking and hearing the noise in the market and so on, this was something very, very interesting. Respect for older people. This is important in Korea. I think it's always very important. A lot of discipline, and this was something very unique here that I noticed. I was surprised that a lot of people just know Egypt history, but they don't know the modern Egypt, you know, so that's why I'm always keen to present also the modern Egypt. Korean youth in particular, young people, they get to feel familiar. Okay, yes, we can go visit Egypt. It's not such a strange place. And also how Korea is such a dynamic society. Like you say here, pali pali. Korean staff, they tell me sometimes you are too fast, ambassador. I said, yeah, because I want to do too many things in a certain amount of time. You know, when you are here for 4 years, you want to try and achieve as much as you can. And I think I learned this from the Korean way of working and life, yeah. No, not really. It's just sometimes there are too many events that are at the same time, and you have to choose between. And this sometimes, you know, makes you feel that you are unable really to experience all what Korea can offer. Korea offers a lot to any diplomat because there are exhibitions, forums, there are seminars, and so on. Of course, our official meetings with our colleagues in MOFA and other Korean ministries is part of our work. Definitely, there is a lot to offer to the diplomatic community here, and I'm one of the persons who wants to go and participate as much as I can. And also, I have my personal interests, you know, like art exhibitions, because I like art myself and so on. So Korea is very rich in this scene, you know, the art scene. So I can be busy 24/7 easily. Yes, it gives us work. It gives us a lot of homework to do. Colleagues from the Korean staff are helping me a lot because I consider them as also diplomats. Like sometimes we cannot attend one event, so I ask someone from the Koreans, please attend on behalf and represent the embassy, because it is also very good that we are participating in the visibility. My role as an ambassador is not to come and sit in my office. My role, as much as possible, outreach, is to be in contact with Korean officials and the Korean people and the Korean private sector, to talk to them, to tell them about my country, and also to listen to them how Korea sees my country. This is also very important. Yes, sometimes there is back-to-back meetings. I do enjoy it, and I feel fulfilled as an ambassador when I see tangible results, when I see real results happening between our two countries, because this is, at the end, it is for the benefit of both peoples in the two countries. No, I'm quite lucky. I'm one of the luckiest ambassadors in Seoul because my residence is just upstairs. So I'm just like working 24/7. You know, I'm. This is actually a good side and a bad side because I always feel I'm in the office. It's just one floor up is my residence. Sometimes I'm like literally 24/7 working because the time difference. In the afternoon, it starts to be in the morning in Egypt. So I get phone calls from my Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Egypt. And some people call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, Seoul time. They don't realize the time difference. And yes, so yeah, it's not a lot of waste of time going from home to the residence. Oh yes, it'd be my pleasure, definitely. Let's go. Please come in. This is our residence. So this is our official part of the residence. We have a lot of paintings by Egyptian artists, and they resemble the Egyptian culture. So I don't know, you want to sit first or you want to go on a tour? Okay, so let's start here. This actually is interesting. This is for water. It's made of clay. It looks similar to the pottery in Korea. You are using similar things, but for kimchi, right? Here, this is in the village. They usually have ducks or turkey, cows, authentic look of an Egyptian village. Now we are actually developing the villages, and we have a project called Haya Karima, means decent life for all the villages, and it's under the auspices of our president. And this is an ancient market. This is the bargaining we were talking about. It's a cultural experience because the seller wants to make as much money as he can. Buyer wants to make the best deal. He wants to pay as less as possible. And this is also again in the village. You have many wooden carts that are being pulled by horses to transport agricultural products and so on. And these are one of my favorite pictures because this shows you the Egyptian village with the mosque and the greenery, because not all of Egypt is desert. And this is by the River Nile. This is the famous sailboats. There are crystal things, and this is silver. They are still being handmade in the markets in Egypt. They built it in a nice way so we are able to host receptions and to have guests in our residence. In Korea, it's very difficult to find space and very expensive if you want to hire a place. And this is the famous Korean boat, the turtle boat. So this is basically our residence. This is the official where we invite our guests. And upstairs is our private. Well, you can see the living room, I think. We can take you up there if you want to see. We don't have the elevator going up, but we can just walk up the stairs. Here it's not very organized because this is the private area, but I can show you here. This is the living room where I watch the news and the TV. We are lucky to have now the possibility to see the Egyptian TV. This is a small kitchen for our private use, everyday use. Yeah, we try to have some eggs, some Egyptian things, you know. When you are abroad, you want to remember your country, so you kind of put some pictures, you eat some food from your country. It's kind of makes you feel home. Nothing Egyptian, but I think we have something. Because it's the flu season, so I try to take, and this is the famous Korean ginger and honey. Wait, I'll give you a present. Yeah, this is some dates from Egypt. Okay, great. When you are abroad, you try to put things from both countries, because you have to have a private life at the same time, you know. Like sometimes we have breakfast here and you see like this, you can use it for relaxation when you sit, you know. Yeah, swing chair. It is built in a way where there are lots of angles, and we have a roof area. I think you should film outside, it's nice. And we have a view on the Namsam Tower. It's a beautiful view of the Namsam Tower. I love it here. I like to come out. If I have no time to go out, it's just to get some fresh air here. And you can see in autumn the change of color. The scene is quite different. Yeah, we don't have not hilly in Cairo. Very practical, also in a very nice neighborhood in Seoul, very close to everything, so we are not far away from many things, you know, for official meetings, the other ministries and so on. So it does help a lot to be in a central area. My government made a very good choice, and this shows our importance that we are giving to Korea. You know, we invested in building such an embassy, and also your embassy in Egypt. It's a very beautiful building, and the ambassador's residence in Cairo. So I think Both our governments did very well. We hope that the Korean government will take a decision maybe to move the embassy to the new administration capital, because a lot of embassies will be moving. Yeah, this is my wife, Dalia El-Goari. She's been here since I arrived in Korea. I think she would be happy to say a few words about her experience also.
When we first knew we are coming to Korea, we didn't know what to expect at the beginning. We didn't know a lot about the culture. So first thing we thought of doing is to watch a K-drama to get some sort of the culture. And we watched the Crash Landing on You. We both liked it so much. And I even watched it another time when we arrived here. 2 times, yes. Once in Egypt before coming and one other time here. The second time we wanted to get to know some language, Korean language, but unfortunately it's still too difficult for me. This is my first time to this area, so I didn't know what to expect. But actually, I've seen culture quite similar to Egypt. There are some similarities, not too different. The weather is very different. In Egypt, winter is like autumn in Korea. It never snows, never gets to 0. Summer is also different. It's not humid and not rainy at all.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that much of rain in the summer, and I can see that because of the greenery you have here. So definitely, yeah, it was an interesting experience to see how humid the weather is with rain. And you have to have really heavy winter clothes, which we did not expect that we will need. So each winter we are buying more heavy clothes until we reached like the Koreans now, wearing the full jacket. I tried to resist for 2 years, but in my 3rd year, I said, okay, I have to buy a full-length coat.
Daiso, Olive & Young. I love Daiso. I love Olive & Young. Too many things, everything actually.
One of the nice things that Dalia really likes here is the gift tradition and how you wrap your gifts in Korea and how you put so much effort in preparing for the gifts.
This is one of the things you buy from Daiso, like the gift wrapping things.
As much as she can.
Can be every day.
No, actually, one of the interesting experience we had here was going to theater, very vibrant city.
Yes, we've seen many plays.
We've
here.
been to the National Museum of Korea. Seoul offers a lot of things to see, open areas and also in museums and closed areas. I think I would like to bring back with me calmness. Korea has this calm, although it's a very vibrant city, Seoul. Things are done calmly. We're all human beings, we have emotions and so on. But I haven't seen in public anybody with a loud voice or rude to anyone. It gives you this sense when you try and see the environment around you, you kind of feel, oh, that's a nice place to live. You know, everything is organized, everything is very nice and calm. Of course, many things I'd like to take back from here, but we'll...
I would say maybe energy. I don't know how to explain this, but the energy maybe in the streets.
Yes, I've experienced many things in Korea. I've experienced a sense of achievement, the sense of how to face challenges. And I must really say that, you know, the Korean people, throughout the different generations, you have really faced a lot of challenges, regardless of being it environmentally, politically, military even, you know. I mean, this country has really faced so many challenges, and every time they prove that they love this country. And one of the stories that I've heard here, that all the greenery that we see here was because the Korean people, each one planted a tree. This tells a lot about people loving their country, loving their land, loving their heritage and history. Also a story about a generation working very hard for the next generation to enjoy and so on. So it's an evolving story of how a lot of countries are wanting to be partners with Korea. And Egypt is one of them, definitely. And this is what I come out of my experience being here in Korea, that Korea, yes, They adapted many technologies that are in the Western world, but they made it into a Korean flavor. I think I've become very weak. Even my car, I used to drive a Western car, now I'm driving a Korean car, my personal car, you know. And a lot of the things that I like, I find out that they are made in Korea. They become part of the practical life that we are living in our homes. And one of the things we liked is the concept is when you get a present for someone, it has to be a practical present to be used. You know, we are trying to explore the Korean mentality because there is always a thought behind it. It's like the ancient Egyptians. There was some thought behind this pyramid, why they built this pyramid, why they built this temple, why they built this civilization. So as we are talking now in a contemporary world, why is Korea the way it is? There must be some thought behind this. Why are they building? What's behind the K-culture, the K-drama, the K-pop, all of this? There is something behind this, so we have to explore and read behind the lines.
Also how Koreans like their history and like the hanbok, the palaces, and this is also very nice.
Yeah, I would like to see Egyptians having traditional ancient Egyptian costume, visiting their ancient monuments area could be something very nice. Because wherever you look on the internet, Korean palaces, you will find a lot, Koreans and non-Koreans, wearing the hanbok, you know, which is very nice. It's fun, it's something culture, and it brings you back in living history. If you're walking wearing a hanbok in one of the palaces, then you are really reliving the history. It's very nice. So this is something really bringing tourism and history to life to the tourist. To be very honest, going and seeing a building without life is just, you know, okay, a building. But how did people live? How did people cook? How did people wear? What did they wear? And so on, brings it more into a more interactive way. And I think for the new generations, this would be more fun than just going and seeing an old temple without any life in it. We've been talking a lot. Aren't you hungry? You need to eat, huh?